Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, another learning curve video, and we're going to be looking at gargoyles. So this is the next fast attack choice, and it's probably fair to say that the gargoyles are exactly the same basically as termagants, but they have wings. So they come in broods of 10 to 30. They're 6 points each, so nice and cheap. Stat wise, weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength and toughness 3. They have 1 wound, initiative 4, 1 attack, leadership 6 and a 6+ save. Just like the Gants, they're not a synapse creature, of course, so you're going to have to keep them in synapse, otherwise they're going to hunt. So they come with a flesh borer, exactly the same as a Gant, a pretty nice gun, and of course the wings give them the movements that the Gants don't have. And of course you can deep strike them as well, because they count as jump infantry. So you've got your movement, you can deep strike, and if you should actually get into a position where you can assault with your wings rather than moving with your wings, you will get hammer and wrath attacks as well. So overall quite a nice unit. Now obviously this video series that I'm doing is just sharing my learning curve, and it's fair to say that I haven't really used these guys that much, and the main reason is they've only recently painted them, so I haven't got many games under my belt with them, but I'm just going to share my experience with them. So the first thing is, you're probably not going to want to keep these at the back of your force, you know, behind your units, because although they do have the wings and they could potentially jump over the front units, you know, that's so what tends to happen with Tyranids is they do tend to get a bit bogged up for space, so it's quite difficult to do that. So you're probably going to have them at the front, and in that case, because of the physical size of the model, they're actually quite good at giving your rest of your army, especially your monstrous creatures, some cover saves. So they can be very useful cannon fodder for cover saves, and at 6 points each, quite cheap really, considering. Now you do have the option for adrenal glands and toxin sacs, but as in most cases I just tend to avoid them on anything that just dies so quickly, because it's just a huge investment of points. They're only 2 points each, but even so it just, you know, bumps the price up of them, and with that 6+ save, you know, these things are going to die quite quickly. Now you could choose to deep strike them if you want to, and obviously unlike the termagant, you're not going to need the drop pod to do that, so you know, it could be quite nice. The thing that you're going to have to bear in mind if you do decide to deep strike these in with the guns, is you're going to have to try and get them into synapse range, because rolling on that hunt table really isn't good for these guys as a shooty unit. So what else? Well, one of the key special rules that they have is blinding venom. So as opposed to their normal attacks, which is 1, you can swap that for a blinding venom attack, which is just 1 attack, and you can make some poisoned wounds. Poison on a 6+, so not amazing, but they have the blind special rule. So as soon as you hit a unit, that unit has to take an initiative test, and if they fail their initiative test, they're blind. Now this is awesome against anything that has a low initiative. So for example, Necrons, for example, initiative 2. So they're going to fail their test quite easily. And once you get a unit that's blind, these guys are going to hold them up for a long time. So it's probably fair to say that if you don't wipe out your enemy in the first round of combat, you're probably going to be locked in combat for a good number of turns, which is great, and that's where we're going to use the advantage of these guys in holding up units. So they are very good at that, assuming you can actually get them into the assault, and that's where I've struggled, to be fair. Generally they're dead before they get there, even if I take quite a big brood. I mean, I've got 17 of these, 18 sorry of these, and even when I take a big brood, they still tend to die because they just die to any gun that comes into them. And they can look quite threatening on the table. Big, huge units of these little creatures with wings can be quite threatening and visually making your opponent shoot at them. But I suppose the way to look at it is they're not shooting at them. If they're shooting at them, then they're not shooting at some of your other, maybe more key units. The Gargoyles can be quite useful if you don't want to use them for cover, to maybe use on the flanks. Because they've got that extra movement. So as your army advances, once you hit the ranks of your opponent and you start tying your opponent up, the Gargoyles coming in on the outside with the extra movement just gives you that extra ability just to get in there as such, so you don't tend to huddle together in the middle with them. So arguably they're quite good for flanking as well, if you don't need to use them for cover saves. Okay, so I think that's it for these guys. A pretty decent unit. Obviously, they're not scoring like the Gants. Certainly in the standard codex, of course, we're not talking about formations where you can actually get these scoring, which is pretty awesome. But you need quite a few of the models. Okay, so I think that's it for this video. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one.